Peace, peace. It's the consciousness, and I'm just gonna make another video about this Columbus Day, and I'm gonna do my peaceful protest on this day of genocide and celebrating a straight criminal who came over here and created and killed people, like, you know what I'm saying, in horrific ways that they don't even show on television. And he done things that people wouldn't even talk about. You understand what I'm saying? But obviously, to these Europeans, this Columbus Day is their day, because if it wasn't their day, they would not be in this country. You know, he was the first scout that came. So he came, and then that's the reason why they won't let that day go, because to their eyes, Columbus was a hero. But how do you say he's a hero to countries that he came to, that he wasn't indigenous with? Like made like some type of like peaceful justice with the people, and then stabbed them in their back, and then created all this genocide. You understand? And the slaves, and you know, he just was a fucking tyrant. He just was a tyrant, like the majority of these Europeans. He definitely was a tyrant. So I'm just gonna show you how these sick fuckers still celebrate this, and why would they continue to celebrate it?
Also from New Jersey, they had Ice Lodge there is coming, and they had their fancy flute. Well, there's Steve Lawler from the Council Schools office also, as we mentioned it before. Steve Lawler, this is instrumental in putting this whole thing together. We've heard it's great. They come to every meeting.
And yeah, just touching on Italians, right? You got some Italians that's cool, but most of them is fucking racist. In Brooklyn, they did the same thing, knowing damn well that people only got there probably 30 years from the time they got there. They very territorial, just like the most of these other people. You know, they have killed black men. The mob have put mad drugs in our community, has done all this horrific shit. So they basically, I mean, I don't know if Columbus was Italian. I heard people say he was a Jew. I've heard people say that he was half Moor and half black. I've heard people say his name was Christopher Colon. I do know, so I've heard all of it every different way. There's no way to prove it, because if there was a way to prove it, why would somebody be saying that he was all these different things? You know what I'm saying? I mean, which one do we determine where he was from? You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, though, you know, they still continue to celebrate this shit.
Show up on their own time. They, with pizza gallons or chicken pizza, they show up and really put everything into this brand big lineup, because it's, as you say, it's all about them getting tickets. That's what this is about.
Look at this devil right here. What he said, the elected officials on board making sure that happens, making sure it stays.
And also the community efforts, the 1492 Society.
So they got a society called the 1492 Society. They got a society that's named after the more and more I know, the more and more I wish I didn't know.
Make sure that we don't lose our parades. And we have many ethnic and cultural parades across the city, and it's a chance for people to express pride in their culture, but also in their city.
So your culture is a murderer? Yeah, that's why they always making these horror movies and shit. And people go watch them and shit, like, yo, they got us watching horror movies. This ain't the one I was looking for. I was looking for another one. I was looking for, hold on. This one right here. I think this is it. Come on.
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague.
Turnout from where we're standing seems a little bit lower than usual this year, but participants say this is all about honoring Italian-American heritage, and some of them want
It ain't no American heritage, because y'all ain't none of y'all American.
Even with gloomy, overcast skies and showers, no amount of rain is enough to stop this parade of red, white, and green. Good music and the marching.
It's my heritage.
Look, it's her heritage.
Yeah, we're not going to miss this for little raindrops.
It's her heritage.
And her friends among the crowds here for the 73rd annual Columbus Day Parade, drawing people along Fifth Avenue.
So you know what they did too? You know what they did? They made it a Columbus Day Parade and try to make it an Italian Day Parade too. You know what I'm saying? So to way this way they can put both of them together. And you know the sad part is, that's what I'm trying to say, man. I mean, with all this information that's out here, you got guys like me who people claim I can't read, or you know what I'm saying, but I'm smart enough to know that I'm an Aborigine in North America. A lot of you motherfuckers with all these college degrees and all this extra shit you got, you don't know shit. You only know what you've been taught. Okay, I'm smart enough to deviate and break the program and reprogram myself. So how about that? Alright, so now like I said, these motherfuckers know exactly what happened. They know exactly what Columbus did, but yet they still upholding, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. If it was a black man who killed all these people or whatever, like, they wouldn't have a day for Nat Turner. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have a day for Nat Turner. Like, and that's the thing. And then if you celebrate Nat Turner, they look at you like you're wrong. But they can celebrate Columbus, and none of them is looked at. And Columbus was probably, I don't know what category or what term of endearment to use to describe him. He was fucking worried. And you know the thing about it is, like I said in my last video, Cecil Rhodes took tactics from Columbus. He learned shit. He learned to cut off arms and shit from the shit that he learned from Columbus. So this is a European thing. You understand? This is a European thing, cutting off kid arms and doing all that just to get the resources or whatever. And this is how these demons do. All right.
Pride. You're here today to
represent. Look at this cracker.
Italian American heritage and showing pride and all the things that Italian Americans have done for the country.
Look, you ain't do shit for the country. Nothing.
Wasn't the warmest of receptions.
To take all the jobs, all the construction jobs, and be racist. Look, we don't need to debate. We need to debate the facts. You big nose cracker. Look. Look, they got a statue of this nigga. They got a statue of him right there in the middle. And like, yo, I think that's Columbus Circle. I believe so. They got a statue of him. You understand? And that's the thing. You can't protest. Like, when you find out the horrific shit they do, they supposed to say, well, that's history or whatever. That's not history. That is atrocity. And ain't nobody running around here having parades for so-called Hitler. And Hitler ain't even do what they said he did. Okay? But this motherfucker right here, y'all know what he did. It's documented. But the demon that created this day, you understand? Because you had the demon, whoever created this day, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna look that up too, man. That's gonna be something else I'm gonna look up. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me see if I can look it up now. There you go, right here. That's it. Let's see who created this day and when they created it. It's a Columbus Day. It's a Columbus Day is a you notice it say United States. Alright, it don't say American, right? It says United States. Why don't it say it's American holiday?
We believe in placing our clients' needs first and working hard to earn your respect. That philosophy has earned us the Century 21 pinnacle.
Sorry about that. Alright, back to what I was saying. They say Columbus Day is a U.S. holiday. They say that commemorates the landing of Columbus in the Americas on October 12, 1492. It was unofficially celebrated in a number of cities and states as early as the 18th century, but did not become a federal holiday until 1937. For many, the holiday is a way of both honoring Columbus' achievements and celebrating Italian American heritage. They say, but throughout its history, Columbus and the man who inspired it has generated controversy, saying many alternatives to the holiday. No, many alternatives to the holiday has proposed since 1970. All right, now let me read a little bit more. That's kind of all right. Now I say, all right. Now here it's saying Columbus was Italian, but we heard Columbus was a Jew, but nonetheless, all right. It say Christopher Columbus was an Italian-born explorer who set sail in August 1492. It say bound for Asia. They lying because they already knew where Asia was at. Okay, they lying. They are fucking lying. They knew exactly where Asia was at. Okay, it say with backing from the Spanish monarch. Okay, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabel, them same fucking devils who excuse me, them same devils who expelled the Moors. Alright, it say Columbus intended to chart a western south route to China, which is a fucking lie, in India. Okay, you can't, first of all, like, look, let me show y'all something real quick. Alright, we're gonna deal with this shit, man, because these motherfuckers be lying. We're gonna deal with it. Alright? Now look. Alright. Here we go. Let me close this. Alright. Boom. Now check this out. Alright? Now Asia's right over here. Asia's right over here. Technically, you can travel Asia by land. Because if they would have came all the way across here, they could have just came across and then they would have went to Asia. This is all, matter of fact, you know what? Fuck it. All this is Asia anyway. Okay? All of this is Asia. All of this. All of this is fucking Asia. And Asia is not this damn big. Okay? All of this is Asia. See, the reason is all of this shit is mountains up here. All this is mountains and cold. That's the reason why they wanted to get the fuck out of here, because it was too cold. But right here, you got Portugal right here, you got Spain right here, and you got French, and you got Italy. Okay, so you mean tell me, like my man did, and I meant to say Marco Polo, but Marco Polo is supposed to be the one who went to China and created, I guess, pasta or whatever the fuck, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they already knew where Asia was at. They already know that they're on Asia. This all of this shit right here. I mean, excuse my language, man. I don't mean to keep cursing, but I guess I curse when I get excited or whatever. But all of this right here is Asia, okay? All of this land right here, except for right here what we call Africa. And I'm starting to think Africa is Asia too. You know what I'm saying? I don't even believe it was called Africa or whatever. I'm believing that this is called Asia too. This is the only land that's separate from these lands. You understand? These lands is connected. Look, Africa is connected to Asia. Look, that's connected. Look, I guess they don't want to say it because it's not like, I guess they would say it's not on the same, what's the name, the point or whatever, the fault line that run through or whatever. I don't know if it's on the same fault line. I don't want to get into all that and start looking all that stuff up, all that extra stuff, but just know this. This is where they left from, okay? They left from over here. Italy and all this stuff right here, okay? They already knew that it was over here. Only thing they had to do was travel east. They in the west, all they had to do was travel east, boom. Not travel west. They already knew. But, look, man, let me go get back to it. Alright, so it said Columbus intended to chart a Western Sea route to China. How you gonna take a Western Sea route to China? How? Unless you want to come up here. Unless you want to come up here. Now, my thing is this. Why would you come all the way up here? You know how far that is to come all the way up here? That would be the only way you would be able to come, and then to try to come across. That's stupid. That don't even make no sense. That's how you know they lying. That's how you know they lying, because you want to leave from here and go all the way around. This would be west, okay? So if you would leave here, that means you would go all the way around here. That would be the most dumbest. That would be the longest trip that anybody probably have ever took at that point in time in a boat like that. You understand? So that would have been, I wish he would have went that way, because they probably wouldn't have made it or whatever. And then we wouldn't have to deal with these motherfuckers over here and shit that's going on now or whatever. But nonetheless, though, they knew that all of this shit was Asia. At that point in time, this wasn't even called Europe. Okay? None of this shit was called Europe. I mean, this wasn't even called Europe at that time. Look, let's go to that real quick, man. Since we looking up stuff, man. Since we gonna look stuff up. Let's Google. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. Alright, so boom. It says it wasn't until 18. Let's look this up. Alright. So let's check this out. I ain't gotta even go further, man. You could just find simple research on this, man. You ain't really gotta go in all this old other stuff or whatever. It's simple. This shit, it's real simple. Google is your friend. My bad. Sometimes my computer be taking a minute when I do that. Here we go. Antarctica, Europe. Alright. It say Europe was likely. Look. Listen. Let's check it out. Europe was likely named after Europia. Okay. It say one of Zeus' many lovers in Greek mythology. It say legend has it that he abducted her after taking on the form of a white bull and took her to Crete. It say it is difficult to determine the etymology of the name. It say but one. So if it's difficult to determine the etymology of the name, don't come up and tell people, oh, it might likely been named. Fuck out of here. It say but one theory is, see, they coming up with theories now, so they lying. It say but one theory is it came from academia, whatever. It say a word Yoruba, whatever it say, which means to go down, set, or Phoenicians Irib. It say which mean even west. It say the west direction meaning would meant it has long similar origins to Asia. Okay, it has long similar origins to Asia. It say alternatively the name Europia may have derived from the Greek Eure. Listen, this is how you know they lying. When they can't pinpoint it, when there's no history that says, all right, well, actually, if they name this continent, let me see. Let me just make sure. All right. They're not giving you a date when they named it, unless it's right here. Let me see something. No, they talking about Australia. You notice they ain't giving no date. Now let me see something. Let me see. There we go. Okay. All right. Now it's telling me. Well, I guess that was it until 1824. It said it wasn't until 1824 that the name was originally given to the continent. Europe was likely named after Europia, one of... See, look, this is where they just said this. You understand what I'm saying? Was likely. Was likely. Y'all ain't got no records of what it was called prior to being called Europe? You ain't got no records. So, alright. So, hold up. Let me get this straight. What was it called before 1892? Let's deal with that. Alright. Let's see. Alright. I don't like to go on Google sometimes because Google could be confusing sometimes with the way that they be banging stuff out. Now, let me see something. We're not Google, Wikipedia. And definitely sometimes we don't want to go to Wikipedia for information. Now, I just said 1824. Alright, now what was it called before 1824? I don't even know how I got on the subject, but we're gonna push this one through. Alright. Look. Now this is my problem, okay? Now they saying that in 1824 they officially named it Europe, right? But I'm gonna have to go back here because I guess here would be some of the, unless I go to like a Google Scholar or something. Let me see something. Alright, here we go. We up in here. This say the same thing. Hold up. Alright. So I was right here. So boom. So the western direction meaning would mean it had similar origins to Asia. Like I said, alternatively, the name Europa, whatever they say, may have derived from the Greek Euro meaning wide, or op meaning face, so wide face. They say as in many of the other names, as in many of the other names of the continent, Europia originally didn't refer to anything close to what we think of Europe today. They say rather it was just a region like Asia. Okay, they keep on saying Asia because it was called Asia. They can't even give you a name for what it was called prior to 1824. It say referring to a portion of present day Turkey, part of Trent. It say like most. It say most. I've known the Americas, North and South, whatever. I ain't even gonna get on the Americas. It's gonna say America Van speaks, which that's a fucking lie. Because Rica, there was be. Why would they call Coast of Rica, Port of Rica? Because Rica means riches, America. So where in this word do you see Rica? Rica. So what? So Rica is his own word. Okay. They called this land of riches for a reason. That's the reason why it's called America. Okay. But also remember, they said the Amaru and the Khan. The people was called the Amaru and the kings was called the Khan. I also heard that Ameri means love and Rica means riches. So, all right. So back to this, man. You know. All right, man. Alright, so let me see something. It say contrary. Why is this shit always doing this, man? Sorry. It say contrary to people's beliefs, most educated Europeans in Columbus, they understood that the world was round. It say, but they did not yet know that the Pacific Ocean existed. As a result, Columbus and his contemporaries assumed that the Atlantic lay between Europe and the riches of the East Indians. So they lying, man. They already knew India was right here, man. India is right next to China, bro. So how are you mixing right here? India is right here. India would have probably been the easiest sell to get to right here. So they know that already, man. You think that they don't know what's east and what's west of this? They didn't know about the Americas because they got the maps from the Moors after 1492. That's my determination of what happened. Okay, yeah, some of the dirty Moors sold them the land over here. But that's not all the Moors, because if they expelled the Moors, that means the Moors was rebelling against them. So that means that all of was rebelling, just like all the Aborigines wasn't rebelling. All of, like, just like right now, you know, like when I read the Virginia story and I started understanding what happened in Virginia, you see the Aborigines working for the Europeans. So if they was working for the Europeans, meaning that the Europeans had to be paying them something, all right, or giving them something. All right, so back to this joke shit, man. Sorry about that, yo. My computer is so slow.
By allowing a city commission to determine whether Christopher Columbus statues in a city should be considered as symbols of hate. Those who believe the Columbus statues should come down cite Columbus's mistreatment of Native
Aborigine. Look, that ain't no Native American. They try to say mistreatment to, and look at the Europeans. See, this is the problem, right? And this is the reason why these same white people who sit there and act like they don't want to know, but they do know, but yet they still stand for this shit. And that's the reason why a lot of them say, oh, well, I don't have nothing to do with what the yes you do, because you're still here and you're still promoting the shit that got us in the situation we got into. So when you see people who always comment and saying, well, I'm not going to, listen, if you know the shit is wrong, you know it's wrong, you know the day shit is an illegitimate day, Thanksgiving shouldn't even be a holiday or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They know what happened. They know what happened on these days, but yet they keep on pushing them because they're rituals. That's what they are. They are rituals for these Europeans. Look how silly they look. They know what's going on, but yet they don't have no type of empathy, sympathy. They don't have no compassion or whatever. So it is what it is. Ain't nobody asking for no compassion. I'm just telling you that how these cold people are.
Of Native Americans.
Look. He ain't no Native American. He ain't no Native American. He ain't no Native American. You understand? So why would they even show this brother? Why this brother out here the only one? Why he the only one out here protesting? Him and this guy right here.
But these here today say the statues and the celebrations
look.
It's not gonna happen.
Look.
Columbus is who he is. That's the way it was.
Look.
We're not gonna change anything.
Look.
Controversy is unfortunate.
Look.
Because it's really.
Look. It's not controversy. We can hit this. Listen. She said so. What Columbus did was controversy. All right. Let me see something. Right here. All right. So where was I at? Right here. I think it might have been this one. I'm just gonna read some of his crimes, since you don't know what he did, and don't nobody seem like they care or whatever. Look, this guy right here again. Look, I'm like, I already read who he is. You already know who he is. No, that's not the one. I don't want to see this one. Hold up. This one right here. They got him separated. I mean, they didn't separate his crimes and entitled them. This is what happened. I mean, like I said, I already did this one, but it's just basically going to be a retake, because I just seen actually seen that on the news, and I was kind of bothered by that or whatever. So they say we can subjugate them all. Okay, I'm not even gonna read that. You already know. You already heard what he did. And you know what? And while we touching on this, just hold up. Look. While we touching on this, I'm gonna prove something to y'all too. While we touching on this, all right? It say Columbus had 2 goals in the Caribbean: to find gold and slaves. It say Columbus returned home to Spain. It said came back to the Caribbean. It say with 17 ships and 1,200 men. It say he traveled from the island to island, taking Indian as captive. It say in 1495 in a large slave raid. Hold up. It say in a large slave raid, okay? It say Columbus and his men rounded. See, when you understand this already, I can pick apart, I can get the information from even basic articles like this. I don't even have to go to no peer review or no legend, or I can read what they saying, okay? So, back to what I was saying, my bad. It say slavery. It say Columbus and his men rounded up 1,500 Arawak men, women, and children and put them in pens. It say then he selected, they selected what they considered the best native and loaded them onto the ship back to Spain. It say 200, now listen to this. 200 died en route. It say after the survivors were sold to slaves. So it's saying 200 died en route. Okay, I wonder how 200 died en route. So if they telling you right here 200 died, that's a large amount of people that died. Say 200 died en route. So you honestly believe they was bringing slaves over here? You honestly believe they was bringing slaves over? Because if they died going across, say 200 died en route. Okay? It say Columbus later wrote, it say let us in our home, whatever. Man, I don't read that shit. I'm going to give it to something else. So this shit keep popping up. Alright, hold on. Alright, so cruelty. Let's read cruelty, okay? Look. We're going to read cruelty, okay? Alright, now look. Listen to what this devil said.
About peace and love, because it's really about peace.
Look.
The controversy is unfortunate.
The controversy is unfortunate. So he's saying the controversy about what we believe about or the truth about Columbus. See, it's only controversy because they don't want to believe it. We already believe this stuff about Columbus. But it's just that they don't want to believe it. Okay? So this is the reason why they're going through all this. Alright? So now look.
Because it's really about peace and love. And, it's one people, one city.
Look. So she said it's about peace and love, right? Now listen to this. Alright, we're going to let's deal with cruelty. We're dealing with cruelty. The 5 horrific crimes that Christopher Columbus that he committed. It say, if captivity and death weren't enough, Columbus and his men had a particular reputation for cruelty. Bartolomé de la Casa, okay, a young priest, it say, who participated in the conquest of Cuba and wrote a history of the Indies. No, Indies. The Indies. It say describe the treatment of the natives. Endless testimonies say prove mild and pacific temperament. It say of the native. It say but our work was extirpate. No. It say extirpate. It say revenge, kill, mangle, destroy. Small wonder. Then, if they tried, matter of fact, you know what? Hold up, man. You know what, matter of fact, I'm going to look this Joker stuff up, though. Hold up. Sorry about that. Let me read that again. Alright, it say, but our work was to extirpate. It say, revenge, kill, mangle, and destroy. So, revenge for what? What was the revenge for you? What was the revenge? It say, kill, mangle, and destroy. Small wonder. It say, but if they tried to kill one of us, now and then, it say the admiral. It say the admiral. It say it is true. It say was blind as those who came after him. It say and he was so anxious to please the king that he committed irreparable crimes. Okay, against the Indians. It say La Casa described how Spanish rolled the back of natives. They said they rolled the backs like they was animals. It say how the Spanish thought nothing of knifing Indians by the 10s and 20s, cutting and slicing off them, and it say to test the sharpness of their blade. La Casa adds, two of those so-called Christians met two Indian boys one day carrying a parrot. It say they took the parrot and for fun beheaded the boys. Okay? So this is how Christopher Columbus was getting down. And they made a holiday out there. Mass genocide. We're going to read this one. I already read this one, but I'm just going to go back over it because I'm quite sure I'm going to get some Europeans who watch this video. You know, but just remember what this lady right here said.
You know, it's one love, and you know, it's one people, one city.
See, them are the people who benefit from them doing this shit. Now they want to say one love, one city. And look, it say, facing extermination, the Arawaks organized, it say, an attempt to fight back against the Spaniards, but they were little match against the armor, they say the muskets, swords, and the horses of the Europeans. They say the Spanish hung and burnt Indians that they took captive. They say by this point the Arawaks began committing mass suicide. They fed cassava poison to their infants to save them from the Spanish. Okay, it's saying 2 years. It say 2 years. It say half of the 250,000 Indians or Haitians were dead. Hold up. All right, I'm sorry. It say half of the two. No, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It say in 2 years, half of the 250,000 Indians on Haiti were dead. I thought the country wasn't called Haiti. I guess this guy right here is just mixing all this stuff in or whatever. I thought it was the island of Espanol, but nonetheless though, it say either through murder, mutilation, it say, or suicide. It say by 1550 there was 500 Indians. By 1650 the Arawaks have been wiped out from the island. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit, because there wouldn't be no Arawaks left now. That's bullshit.
Now back live, you can see the marchers making their way up Fifth Avenue, some of them in their festive costumes here this afternoon. The will end all of this.
Look, and look who they got reporting it.
To wrap up around 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Look who they got reporting it. Look who they got reporting. The Aborigine. They made her work on Columbus Day, and she's so happy. Oh, look at them, they coming through, and she don't even know her history. And this is like I said, man, you got all these so-called people who claim they educated. It's because you went to college. You only means you are educated in a particular topic, unless you done been taught all this shit through the way. If you don't know that you the Aborigine of this land, you gonna be doing foolish shit like this while they marching up and down the street, banging so-called drums and shit like this. You understand? So this is how sick these people is. I never really looked into it like this as far as I knew the history already. You know, I don't celebrate none of them, but as far as to do a video on it, I never really looked into it like that or whatever though. But this is my second video. So, you know, with that being said, man, look, man, this shit, man, is horrific, man. This shit. Like, I mean, just to even practice a ritual and even put that much energy into a person who all he did was murder and commit genocide and everything, you know what I'm saying? So if a man committed genocide, why celebrate him? Same way, they got Rhodes scholars, man. They got Rhodes scholars, and they know who Cecil Rhodes was. Okay? They know exactly who Cecil Rhodes was, okay? Now, this is, you know, look, let me just touch on it. Check this out. Check this out. I'm gonna put him in too. Might as well. Why not? They compare him to Hitler. It says Cecil Rhodes, a bad man in Africa. It says the evil that men do after them. It say and rarely more miserable than in case of Cecil Rhodes, who died 100 years ago this month. It say North Zimbabwe. It say they have long known about the suppression of free speech. It say about the bloody redistribution of the land along racial lines. It say about politicians happy to employ armed and sometimes uninformed mobs to kill their opponents. It say they are practices imported to this region. It say along with the railways by the British. It say unlike the African press, the Western media rarely invokes the name Cecil Rhodes. It say nearly a century after his death. It say on March 26. I don't know why the fuck they always do that. On March 26, 1902, his name is more associated with the Oxford Scholarship than with murder. Okay? It said his name is more associated with the Oxford Scholarship than with murder. Okay? So, oh yeah, you bet. It say it is easier to focus on the region's more recent long-angle white supremacist Ames Smith, for instance, despite the Scottish background, seemed cut from the same stuff of those Afrikaner politicians who nurtured and maintained apartheid further south. It say, but it was Rhodes who originated the races. It say land grabs. It say to which Zimbabwe currently misery can ultimately be traced. It was Cecil Rhodes too. It say who in 1887 told the House of Assembly in Cape Town that the natives is to be treated as a child and denied the franchise. We must adopt the system of disportism. It say in our relations with the barbarians of the South Africa. It is less rhetorical moment. He put in even more bluntly, I prefer land. No, he said I prefer land to niggers. Okay, it say for much of the century, since his death, Rhodes have been revered as a national hero. Today, however, he is closer to a national embarrassment. It say about whom is late. No, it say about whom is the later said the better. I'm sorry. I'm bugging. I can't read this for some reason, man. My eyes like this is very. Let me see if I can put it up. All right, that's better right there. All right. All right, where was that? All right, right here. Okay. All right. All right, here you go. It's saying whom the less says, the better. All right. It say yet. There are plenty of memorials to him to be found. It say in Bishop Snartford. It say in Hertfordshire, birthplace of St. Michael Church, displays a plaque. A plaque. It say the town has a Rhodes Art Center, a Rhodes Junior Theater. It's a group of a small Rhodes Museum. Currently closed. Look, man, I ain't even going on about this shit, y'all. If you already know what Cecil Rhodes did, like read on to this, man, and just check on what he did. All right, I don't want to go, but you know who the De Beers is. You know exactly what he did or whatever. But I'm gonna show y'all something else. Bam. There you go, right here. These are all the Rhodes scholars. So they got scholars. Alright. Now I'm gonna show y'all some. Hold up. Let me see something. here we go. Let me see if it's gonna give me a list. And watch some of the people who are on this list. Cory Booker's on this list. Look. Look. They got Cory Booker on there. Look. Bill Bradley. This asshole right here that's running for I think he's running for something. I think he's running for government or governor or something. It say no, he said a Republican governor of Louisiana. It say a fucking Indian? Indian is the governor of Louisiana? Is you fucking kidding me? An Indian is the governor of Louisiana. What is the ratio to Indians? Like, yo, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Like, you know why he's the governor. Because he's a Rhodes Scholar. This guy. This lady. Rachel Maddox. Susan Rice. Look. Another Negro. Now hold up, this ain't what I'm looking for. Let me see. Let me see something. You know who to look for if you see any politicians, man. They all got, if they ain't got this Rhodes Scholar, they got some other scholar of somebody tied. They probably got a Christopher Columbus scholar or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That they just probably renamed to something else. So let me see something. But man, I don't feel like going no further into it. My computer, some of these sites right here, my computer be bugging on. But you guys check that out, man. You guys check out Cecil Rhodes. I know a lot of you know who Cecil Rhodes was already. Check out what Cecil Rhodes did. But Cecil Rhodes adapted a lot of Columbus so-called practices. Okay? He adapted a lot of so-called Columbus practices. But, you know, that's another day. That's for another story, alright? But like I said, man, check into it, look it up, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't know what these holidays is about, man. Don't let them catch you worshiping these holidays and you practicing your own demise of your people or whatever. At least know what the holidays is about and have a choice whether or not you want to. I mean, I don't see why anybody want to indulge in that holiday. But nonetheless, though, at least educate yourself on why they not teaching you in the school. Why do you got to learn this from somebody who so-called, I don't know what my so-called status is educationally. I do got 2 college degrees or whatever, but nonetheless, though, you got to learn this from a joke on YouTube or learn this from other people who've been on YouTube or people who I learned it from. So, with that being said, man, I'm the Tosh this one, man. I'm out of here. Peace.